Listen, I am a kid in a candy store right now because I get a chance to sit down with another creator. Like, this guy is blowing my mind. Like, literally the stuff that we've been able to talk about and what I know we're gonna get into on this show. So if you're a content creator, let me tell you what you do. Not only do you watch this, I need you to take notes, go to the description, get the transcript, the whole nine. This one, like this show right here, is gonna inspire you and encourage you to get up and get to work. So without any further ado, you know I'm DJ Strick. This is Strick City Live, and I have Dez Wilson right here from 1987.
Yes, sir.
I like the company name, man.
I appreciate it.
I'm gonna steal it, but I don't have 1987. Mine goes a little bit further back.
Look, man, when I had the clothing line, you'd be surprised how many people were like, I like it, but can you make a 1986 shirt?
Right.
This is my year, it's my company. I got the logo, tattooed on me.
Are you still working it?
Yeah, man. I mean, my company has been, majority part of my livelihood.
That's what's up.
I left college in 2008.
Where'd you go?
Went to UAB. I had a full music scholarship to UAB.
What instrument did you play?
Saxophone, piano, and percussion.
Cool.
Yeah, they got their money's worth out of me. I was doing saxophone and concert and jazz band. I was doing drumline in the marching band.
That's crazy.
Still had theory lessons, private lessons, and my core classes on top of that. So,
are you a product of Birmingham?
I'm actually from Tuscaloosa originally. I'm from
sorry
Alberta City. It's all right. No, roll tide. From Alberta City, pre-tornado, but went to Central High School when it was the real Central before I got split up into Paul Bryan and Northridge. So, I had a great time in Tuscaloosa. Moved to Birmingham halfway through high school. Ended up graduating from Oak Mountain and got a full scholarship to UAB.
Man, that's crazy. Now, I'm gonna tell you this. It's not an easy feat to get into UAB. A lot of people don't know this. Especially around that time. UAB had a very high threshold to allow students to get in, especially from this area.
I actually received the Stevie Wonder Scholarship at that time. Yeah.
So you're connected with Dr. Pinion at all?
I did. I connected with Dr. Pinion during my time at UAB. I think he was part of the selection committee for me to receive the scholarship.
Right.
But I think they just took it into the account, me being a multi-instrumentalist.
Right.
And that I think, heavily influenced their decision. But I had been in music since, about middle school. Before that, my parents noticed I had a really strong ear for music. That's how I really picked up so many different instruments. I play by ear. If I hear it, I can play it back.
I did not know that, but that explains a lot of stuff. So my wife is a musician, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I just know, like, real good musicians, they know how to speak another language through the music. And the intellect that you get out of that is multifaceted. And that kind of explains a lot of what you're able to do creatively. Most people would remember during the pandemic, you actually released some Netflix type banners for the Addams Family, done in African American style.
Yeah, so the background with that is before the AI wave took off, I was part of a beta testing group who had access to MidJourney.
MidJourney, okay.
And this is before MidJourney went public.
Okay.
And I was getting my chops wet with prompting. And this was right around the time when the first season of Wednesday came out on Netflix, and I just loved that new modern interpretation of it. I was a huge fan of Addams Family, when it first came out back in the day, and I was,
you liked the regenerated version.
Yeah,
because the first version came out in the
classic.
60s.
Yeah, the regenerated version. Yes. So I guess the second iteration is the one I saw. But I liked the modern interpretation of it, and I was testing the MidJourney platform and AI to see how well it would respond to black imagery.
So a lot of people are familiar with MidJourney now, but explain to me like a beta part of MidJourney, like before they ever came out.
Yeah, they were still testing and building, the machine learning model. And if you were just a tech kind of nerd, like me, then you were familiar that this new wave of AI was coming.
Right.
We already had language learning models, which were like ChatGPT.
Right.
Those were just starting to roll out, but the idea of generative AI, was still being explored and tested at the time. And so they were still building their libraries and models with it. And so just from, being subscribed to different, newsletters, blogs, and my timeline kind of being catered towards, tech-driven stuff and creative, visuals. I kind of stumbled on MidJourney and spent months learning prompting and testing it out. I mean, I thought it was awesome. And I mean, in the first I evolved with MidJourney, so I tested the very first iteration of it. And those images were rough. I mean, faces, people, they weren't fully formed yet. And, it was really abstract. And so I really watched it evolve over time to the point to where it is now, to where you can get, it's hard to determine fake from, an AI image from a real image now.
Some good stuff now.
And so I'm thankful I was part of that, evolution of seeing the platform grow. But the Addams Family was just kind of an experiment. I was like, let me see how the machine responds to a pre-existing image that I know is in its library, and make it black. And the results, I mean, it went viral.
It did go viral. What was it, all the way to Russia?
Yeah, Russia, Brazil. There's a huge Brazilian horror community that just loved it. And so once I saw the traction happen online, I put the designs on some T-shirts, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So how did that change what you were doing?
At the time, I was in between main gigs.
Oh, okay.
And so it was perfect timing. I had left my gig at Reckon. I helped build the Reckon news platform under Alabama Media Group, and left there and was just kind of in limbo, and had the time, to just dive into learning this platform and experimenting with it. And luckily, it just all aligned at that point. So I was able to make enough money selling those images and the products that I made with the posters and T-shirts, because of the virality of it, it sustained me through that, that unemployment period.
So what was I guess you created it, it went viral, and then you put it on T-shirts. That's how you monetized it.
Yep.
And people, like, at the end of the day, y'all need to know this, that when you're being a content creator, finding ways to monetize what you're doing with your creativity is one of the first steps to going from a full-time content creator and not just a hobbyist. I'll be honest, I'm still a hobbyist.
No, man, no. You're in the transition now.
I'm in the transition.
You're transitioning now, and it's also difficult as a creative too. And that's why you hadn't seen me do that since then, right?
Right.
I didn't want to be known as the AI guy,
I get it.
And when I released it, because the generative AI platforms hadn't been made public yet, no one really knew how I made the images. Did you draw them?
Right.
Is this really coming out with Netflix?
I didn't have a clue. What I didn't know he did that. That's cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't till, I didn't think it was MidJourney. It wasn't until later on that I figured out that, okay, I mean, this may be 2 years later. Oh man, that was AI. But when it came out, I was just blown away.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. I thought seeing the images there, I'm like, man, did he get a Netflix deal?
Yeah.
Like, are they coming out with a Black Addams Family like that? Who, like, a TV producer would have to have seen that and say, that's a great idea.
I had what production company was that? The production company that did Stranger Things. After I did the Addams Family release, I did a few other kind of experiments, like Dennis the Menace. And
I seen that too.
A few other ones, and I eventually ended up in this space of really exploring like the intersection of African culture and Japanese culture through samurai and Yasuke, the Yasuke story of the African samurai that was adopted to the Japanese culture and became samurai. And so really started getting deep into that imagery, and the production company that did Stranger Things actually reached out and was like, hey, what are you doing with this African samurai stuff? Because we're working on a Yasuke movie. And they were just trying to figure out what I had going on, pulled me in and actually, had a few discussions with them. But yeah, it just shows the power of imagery and creativity and just trying stuff and put it out there.
And timing too.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. When we met, this was, I don't know, man, it's probably 16, 17 years ago, like in person, where I remember actually meeting you. You had a camera in your hand, but you were just taking photos at that time. So you go from music to just taking photos and being known in the city as someone that could, I think at this point you were covering an event, but you were also working for the city, and it was pretty much the same thing, right?
Yeah, my transition into visual arts actually happened during the time that I was playing with YVPG at Martini's.
Okay.
So YVPG, shout out Young Vocals, Groove, Precision, Ryan Keys, Camellia, and we were killing it. We had between 500 and 800 people there every weekend.
Wow.
And I already was deep into graphic design and was handling all the flyers that we were doing, to promote the events. Because
that was some nice stuff too.
I appreciate it.
I mean, sometimes you don't know who's doing it, but I was like, man, they put out some good stuff.
Yeah, graphic flyers and party flyers were my bread and butter for years before I picked up a camera. And I picked up a camera to help support the imagery that I needed for my graphics.
Gotcha.
But being in the band, I knew that we needed, banners, we needed a website, we needed a music video, we need merch, and I just picked it up and figured it out how to do it on my own. So really, YVPG was my first client in that sense.
Gotcha.
And got my feet wet with trying out different assets and visual branding as a whole. And so it started there, and it just kind of evolved into different businesses. And graphic design, and then I picked up photography, and after photography I picked up film.
Right now you're really blowing my mind because you're a person that don't have limits. Like how you think that, hey, I can do this, I can do that. Creatively, how did you get to that space to where you say, I know you said in this case they needed it, but what would be they needed to where I'll do it? Like how did you get to the point where you say, well, I can do that?
Just pure interest, and
So are you a player? Like, do you go in and play with certain things? Or are you a YouTube University person?
Oh yeah, YouTube. YouTube. I spent 10,000 hours, learning Photoshop and learning Premiere Pro.
Oh my God.
Same way I did to learn Logic when I was heavy into music production, and Fruity Loops before that.
Right.
So it was remaining creative, allowing myself to remain in that creative space, to not box myself in, and being open to learning something new.
How are you still in Birmingham?
I've traveled a lot.
I didn't say why.
Yeah,
I'm like, how? Because we have so many creators here, but a lot of people don't know that people are creating out of Birmingham all over the world for major things. So we're going to get into what you're doing recently, like right now, but how are you still here?
Really, what brought me back to Birmingham, I spent a lot of time in Atlanta, and I've traveled, around the world, filming and working with different folks, celebrities, athletes. Went to Africa the first time with David West.
Okay.
Played with Golden State, and currently working on a documentary with him now about his AAU basketball program in North Carolina.
Cool.
So spent a lot of time in the music industry in Atlanta, and actually had an opportunity to work at Jesse Lewis's advertising agency.
That's right.
Ricky White, shout out to Ricky White, set me up with my first opportunity to work there. Advertising and the agency world was something I had been interested in, but didn't have I didn't have a way in at that point. And so when that jumped up, I hopped on it and came back to Birmingham. And so,
why not, right?
Yeah. I was like, I dropped out of UAB my junior year, and just went full force independent in the creative arts. And after kind of going through that journey, missed some parts of the structure,
Got you.
After freelancing and, not picking up as much business acumen as I should have been over that time, because I was just so heavily involved with the creative process. And, the money will come.
Right.
It doesn't. If you're not intentional about it, it's not going to be.
You got to send out the invoices.
You
right?
do.
And then you got to collect them sometimes too. You might have to call them. Like I sent you the invoice.
Yes, and we're not taught both at the same time. And I don't fault myself. I dove into my creative crafts and fine-tuned those up, and knew I wanted some more business acumen.
Gotcha.
That I knew I needed to evolve and into my next chapter. And so my time at Jesse Lewis's agency, I rebranded them into Agency 54.
Okay.
And then I had my first opportunity to work at City Hall through Jonathan Austin. And so he was city council president at the time, and got me hired up there in the city council public information office.
Okay.
Rebranded the city council. The logo and brand that you see today is what I helped create, years ago.
People will never know.
Yeah. Wow. So help integrate update their video integration system, got them integrated into Facebook Live, and help make a lot of those meetings more accessible to the general public.
I like that.
So bounced around from being a freelance, performing artist to a freelance graphic designer to, a mix of graphic design, photography, and film. Then I went into advertising, from advertising into government communications, from government communications into journalism at Alabama Media Group.
Okay. That's that rush you were telling me about.
Reckon.
Okay.
Roy Johnson, one of our best journalists here in town, actually recommended me for a position there.
That's awesome, man.
I spent about 3 years at the city council, and anybody who's worked at City Hall knows it kind of burn you out, especially as a creative. There's not a lot of flexibility. Government politics are kind of, boxed in.
You got to be in that box.
Yeah. And I'm thankful that I had the opportunity. I learned a lot from it too, because I wanted to learn how to apply my, just natural creative sense into the psychology of mainstream, business and commercialism. So,
and that's a great place to do that. It is. But how in the world did you handle picking up the phone one day and it's Pink Beard saying, "Hey man, I'm thinking about doing this artist and I got this music, I want you to help me." Like, how do we go from all of that to now, like you're working with one of the most creative minds in music right now? I say in music, I mean he's creative all the way around. Pink Beard.
Pink Beard didn't call me. Sebastian called me.
Right.
And this was before the Pink Beard brand name had even come to fruition yet. Sebastian hit me up and said, "Listen, man, I got these songs I put together. I want you to take a look at them, and I'd love your help with visualizing it." And he in fact said, there's no one else who I think can really visualize this the way that it needs to be done. So I was honored by that call, period, and motivated by it. But then when I listened to the songs, man, I've got all 14 of the original songs that have yet to come out yet, but I listened to them, man, and they punched me in the chest. I was pulling over on the side of the road crying, listening to some of the first ones. And you have a musical background too, so I was connected to it from the production to the lyricism to the flexibility and tones of his voice. He's got a crazy range.
Right.
I was fully motivated by the entire thing, man. And then also just witnessing and loving our evolution and exploration into country music and other genres that we typically have felt, we're not for us.
Right,
You know,
like that door hadn't been open.
Exactly.
That door is open now.
It's wide open. We kicked it open.
I mean,
you know?
definitely it was
Yeah,
kicked open.
yeah.
Like
Shout
it
out to
wasn't-
Beyonce. You know?
Right. They were behind the door talking about y'all can't get in.
Yeah. Even though we built the door, you know, you know, we know
The
that
whole
now.
genre.
Right. Exactly. So it was
And that's a whole
motivating
other
from that
conversation.
sense.
I would really want to know more about that because, you know, from the, you know, when somebody's trying to keep you out and now we have a floodgate and it's probably, it's not going to say just as many, but it's a lot of black country artists right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are doing some major things. Like this one black guy, I don't even know his name, but he's doing commercials and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, Shabuzi. And I mean, if we go back, I mean, Darius Rucker, Hootie and the Blowfish, you know,
True.
in terms of kind of a modern sense, really,
Right.
you know, set the tone early. But I love to see our blackness unlimited, you know, and
Why not, right?
I mean, you know, we're global, you know, and I'm blessed to have seen that, you know, going to Ghana the first time, I mean, was life changing just to
Right.
see that many black folks at once in every facet of society, from
Right.
the doctors to the, you know, cashiers at the register to
that's
the
gotta be
police to the,
life-changing.
you know, it was beautiful to see. And I think on the heels of that, you know, when Sebastian sent me the songs, I saw the potential for, I felt the effect that I knew the music was gonna have on people.
Gotcha.
And coupling that with the timing, like you said, you know, in addition to Sebastian's network through songwriting and success that he's gotten through songwriting, and I mean, it's just his overall ability. I mean, he's a genius songwriter, and the way that the songs are formatted, it was something that I had never heard before. I knew no one else was gonna hear, you know, and
To me, it sounds like a combination. Well, it sounds like a mature Sebastian doing country. Not to diminish that because, I mean, what all his other music is great, but he allows himself, like through some of the vamps and bridges that he has, I can hear that.
Yeah.
Like I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that rhythm, that's his style. Like, but to be able to put it in the framework of country music right now is, I don't know, you could just call it pop country.
yeah.
You know, and it just works. I like it. I like hearing his writing.
It's gonna be continuously difficult for people to place him and this album in the category.
You think so?
Yes.
Of course, you've
because
heard all the
each
music.
song goes in a different direction. No two songs sound alike.
Wow.
And you'll see as they roll out. I mean, the album could be the soundtrack to a movie because it has that much flexibility and versatility to it.
Have y'all completed like a lot of the visuals already, or y'all still working?
No,
on
we're still building. Yeah, we're building as we go. The timeline has been really interesting. I mean, we started shooting clips less than a year ago, and you know, within the first 3 months of us releasing clips, I think we generated about 20 million organic views.
What are you filming on, like for those clips?
I shot those on a red Komodo with the DZO 20 to 55 cinema lens mostly, and
35?
20 to 55.
20 to 59?
And then one of my favorite lenses is a Canon 70 to 200 L3.
Okay.
And so a lot of my more intimate stuff, I like shooting real dirty shots with stuff kind of, you know, in front of the frame, shooting through things. And I use that lens a lot for that.
I get it. I'm sorry, we're nerding out a little bit.
Yeah. You know, we're
Lenses and
speaking
stuff.
Spanish to a lot of folks right now.
Hey, but it works for me, man. I always want to know because, you know, as a creator, sometimes good creatives, not to take away from using great equipment, but you can shoot it on a cell phone.
We get stuck on equipment, man. You know, and it was more important 10 years ago than it is now.
Right.
You know, we didn't have the quality. I mean, we got 4K and 6K on our phones now. So
Right.
in terms of resolution, that's not the concern anymore. Right. Now it's about aesthetics, depth, you know.
Creativity. So this is what I'm learning. So in this set, it looks good, the video quality is good, but I'm still trying to develop more identity for Strick. So
And that's
when
all
you-
it's about now. It's about your own signature, what you like.
Right. So if someone wanted to duplicate it, some of the stuff they could, but the next lens, it would be hard to duplicate.
Right.
You know, you can, but you got to step up, step up.
And my brother is deep into cinematography as well, and one of the things he told me a while back stuck with me is it's less about the sensor and more about the lenses.
More about the lenses.
Yeah, how you stack those lenses, and I mean testing stuff out. I just bought one of those cheap 3D printed. They make it's a 3D printed lens. I call it a lens mount, but it's a lens.
Okay.
But it emulates the look of a disposable camera.
I've heard about those.
Yeah, it's like
real,
$30. Yeah.
real tiny like lens.
Yeah, it's super small. You don't have any control over your exposure, but you work your frame rate and your ISOs. You can get what you need, but it's not being limited to the rules of cinematography. But also understanding the rules of cinematography and like diving, knee deep into understanding what it takes to create a cinematic image.
Got you.
And I think that there needs to be a bolder line drawn between videographers and cinematographers, and there's no shade to either one.
It is a difference.
It is a big difference. Picking up a camera, turning it on, and hitting record is not the same as
No, it's not.
understanding color grading, shooting in log, frame rates, framing, symmetry. I'm a huge Tarantino fan.
And you can tell stories with cinematography.
Yes.
Videography allows you to tell a story. Does that make sense?
I think-
I could see
I would say cinematography is the aesthetic of telling a story.
Got you.
You can tell some people are better storytellers than others, right?
Right.
Or you can tell a story with no images,
Right. You can.
and it's all about how are you telling the story, and
story.
how effective is the story being read and received.
I get it.
And I think thankful that Tyler Perry made the transition from screenplays, from stage plays into screenplays, but we, and obviously like the gatekeeping of Hollywood also is part of that too. The knowledge of cinematography, how to meet that pre-existing standard that had already been created,
Right.
Had been gatekept from a lot of us for a long time. And so Tyler Perry broke the door down. We saw that, independently produced black films do really well.
Right.
People started throwing money behind it, but a lot of people still didn't take the time to really study cinematography in that sense. And I don't think a lot of people really understood that Tyler Perry made the transition from stage plays, which you can cut corners. You are throwing wigs on and doing quick stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not behind the camera nitpicking about, ISOs and zebra charts and everything.
Right.
And so I think it took off, that industry took off faster than
was able
we
to
studied
learn.
it. Yeah. And so with that, you saw the Tubi, trend where a lot of independent black filmmakers are making good money, and a lot of people like a lot of the Tubi movies. It's hard for me to watch a lot of them because I'm looking at it from a cinematographer's lens, and I'm like, that lighting could have been different, or this
It's
framing
not me
is
not
off.
liking
Yeah.
it or watching it. It's my wife having to listen to me say, "Baby, look at that. No, stop it right there. Look at this.
Right.
You should never
There's
do that."
a continuity issue right there, So, but it's still no shade, because I'm glad to see black folks telling stories, black
Right.
folks making money.
That's true.
And so I'm there's no hate there, but from a purist perspective, and somebody who, spent that time,
Learning
YouTube
it.
University and still studying and trying to be better with my craft in that sense. It's something that I want more. If we're picking up a camera, I want all of us to be as invested in learning how to better
like
our
that.
shot each
like
time we
that.
pick it up.
So I want to get back to this thing that you're doing as a creator with Pink Beard. For whatever reason, I saw the connection between the two of you guys different. So I have a lot of clients, and guess what? You'll never know that they're my clients because they're sharing it on their platform, and I built it, they paid me, they put it out. In this case, you were putting out and sharing a lot of what you guys were doing together, and it just comes across as it's more of a collaboration than he's a client of yours. Can you kind of explain your mindset behind sharing like every step of the way, even on your platforms with your audience?
Yeah, for me at the time, I mean, music and artist development really was at the foundation of my creative career.
Okay.
But I got burnt out of it, burnt out of, not making the money that I wanted to make from it, and not having the stability that I wanted to have from it. And so when I made the shift into corporate advertising, government communications, journalism, that was about almost an 8-9 year, period.
Okay.
That I didn't have that same amount of creative expression in. I wasn't shooting music videos like that, you know what I mean? And so a large piece of my creativity was lost during that period of time.
I get it.
I gained a lot of knowledge in terms of how to, market and create, commercial advertisements. Shot a lot of big name clients and stuff like that. But the freedom and flexibility of just shooting how I interpreted something needed to be visualized.
Got you.
You don't have the limitations when you're working with a client. Hey, this is what I want. I want it shot like this. This is my budget. This is my timeline. You're restricted. And so when Sebastian came with the music, I saw that opportunity. One, he presented it as a collaboration. He didn't say, hey man, I got X amount of dollars and I can spend this much on each video. He was like, listen man, I ain't got no money. I just got these songs.
Right.
And I truly believe that you're the only person who can take this to the next level for me.
Wow.
And it was that combination. I mean, Sebastian and I have known each other, 15 plus years, going all the way back to Amani Raha, I think.
Got you.
But we didn't grow up together. We didn't go to school together. We just knew each other through the work that we had produced in the city. And I was blessed to be director of photography of the first, major video he put together, which was Hey God.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the label that he was on at the time didn't release that. And so I had always, anticipated like, okay, what's Sebastian gonna do next?
Right.
And so when songwriting took off for him, I don't think I expected him to come back around as an artist. And so, I was intrigued, I was interested. And so once I listened to the songs, we approached it from a collaborative standpoint. I saw it as an ability for me to get back into what I really enjoyed doing, which was a combination of music and visual arts. And
I get it. So is it like your part that you bringing in for the creativity of the artist, or like developing art? Is it kind of like A&R as well? So you're the creative person and doing A&R all together?
Yeah, like, I mean, he'll have ideas that we'll, kind of collaborate on. If he doesn't have any ideas, he'll just completely take my direction. And that's input that's been from styling to locations to, how he performs a certain type of song. And over time, I mean, my role has evolved, to now like being his creative director, and I'm hired under the record label now to continue doing what, I've been doing. Yeah, so he took me with him. I mean,
that's the way to do it, right?
He was not going to sign the deal if I wasn't part of the deal. And that loyalty and trust is what really,
man, you can't beat that,
brought us to this point here, man.
So who came up with the idea that he'll run for mayor?
That was him. Listen, that was definitely
all this
Big
talking
Biz.
hadn't did anything for us. I create and you know what stands out for the commercials that he's doing with that? I don't know how he did the voiceovers or how that worked out. The way he sounds to me stands out more than anything else. The way he pronounced the words. We're gonna have a battle royale. Like, I'm a talker and DJ and all that other kind of stuff. So I'm listening to not just what he said it, but how he said it. And I'm like, this stuff is A1.
Listen, and this is just a testament, I think, to full-blown creatives, right?
Right.
I showed him the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 that I had gotten. And we, shoot a lot of run and gun, social content with that. He was like, man, I got to get one of those. He bought one. He figured out how to use it, and he took off with it. And all of that social content you see is him. He's been shooting it. He's been editing it. He's been coming up with the scripts on the fly. So the entire mayor campaign was not thought about. It wasn't like a pre-planned
I think it's a hot
execution.
idea, by the way. I'm with anybody that is any type of an artist or anything like that running for any kind of office unofficially.
Unofficially, right, yeah.
Is a cool thing around that time because there's so much activity around the mayor. Guess what? The algorithm picks that up.
It's timing and paying attention to the landscape, and being tuned in enough to see where you can
kind of fit
interject in. Same way with the AI Addams Family stuff,
Yeah.
It's being confident in yourself, willing to mess up and look stupid,
all of that.
And just doing it, trying it, seeing it, looking at people's reactions, and then determining whether you're gonna keep it going or not.
What's next for you?
It's a great question. I'm about 3 months into a new position with Create Birmingham.
Okay.
So I'm the communications and growth manager at Create Birmingham now, and that's a local nonprofit that literally just serves the creative community through grant resources. We have networking events. We have a co-starters program where we've helped build and launch several creative businesses in the city.
Okay.
We're also our subsidiary is Film Birmingham, which does the same thing in the film community. We provide workshops, networks, resources, and we have a film location crew and location database called Real Scout, where any large productions that come to the city, they'll go through our database to find local crew, resources, etc.
That's what's up. So I didn't do it last summer, but the 2 summers just before, my nonprofit is called Urban Avenues, and we do a summer camp. And we've used a lot of people through the film part of that nonprofit to kind of help us be able to teach the kids. It is my plan to do it this summer. I'll be sure that we talk more about that.
Please
to
do.
Get some help. I don't want to have to, we're not trying to serve 100 kids, but we're trying to serve the kids that we do have the resources for very well. And they make films, and you can look it up on YouTube, Urban Ham Film Camp, and there's some stuff out. There's some little vignettes that we help them go through, which is really, really cool. We've had some people come in and kind of run that camp for us, and they've been great. And I want to keep trying. We missed it last summer, just too busy. My wife's schedule was ridiculous.
Yeah, and she's doing her thing, man.
She's doing her
shout out to her.
And I get to carry the flute back.
Yeah, man, as you should.
So we've been enjoying that, but we definitely want to dive deeper into it, especially because of the show, the interview shows that's going well. Strick City Live is doing really well right now. We're trying to keep that going. That being said, if there was a young creative, maybe you 20 years ago, what would you tell yourself as you know what you experience and what people could be experiencing in the creative space? What would you say to kind of encourage somebody that is looking to be creative now?
To learn the business as much as you learn your craft. Learn invoicing and bookkeeping as much as you're learning how to edit on Premiere Pro and
that's good.
Export an MP4 file at H.264. You know what I mean?
Right.
They go hand in hand.
They do.
Also to be willing to ask for help.
Okay.
And open for collaboration.
That's good.
I think our community a lot of times struggles with, survival mode. And in survival mode, you hoard information, you hoard resource, and it's just not sustainable. Creatively, it's not beneficial personally. You got to be willing to share and be flexible and compromise and collaborate. And I'm thankful that I can name off a dozen different creatives that I've helped either jumpstart their creative career or giving them a piece of equipment that they still use to this day, that, investment into the community has also, reciprocated and come back. So,
That's awesome.
Sow those seeds, you know what I mean? And don't be afraid to, take a risk and gamble. The least that's gonna happen is you're gonna learn from it.
You can always learn, right?
You're gonna learn something from it.
So this is my last question for sure. And this is for me. You're talking to me. I'm the creator in the city that is too busy to breathe. You are working with your nonprofit, and collaboration is key, like bringing content creators together. What would you say to me in regards to some of the conversations and coffee things you guys are doing? What would you say to me to entice me to kind of be a part of that?
I think, we're at a very interesting time period for creatives, right? We're all in high demand,
Right.
while still struggling to not only determine, but to ensure our value.
That's true.
Every corporate entity needs some level of creative services.
Right.
From website design to photography to video storytelling to training videos, social media graphics. Everyone needs a creative right now.
Right.
But a lot of people don't want to pay what creatives need. Right. They don't consider the amount of investment that we've taken into our equipment. They don't take account the amount of investment we've put into our skills and crafts, and how that's it's you have to constantly continue learning, just like you have to a nurse practitioner, a doctor has to take their boards every several years.
That's right.
We're always studying, right? But we really need to come together, share resources, find ways to elevate each other and cross promote. And we all, post COVID and being creative introverts in some different, way or fashion, we need that level of community. Right. And, we're still building that here. We're still on the ground floor of what does our creative economy and what does our creative community look like. And it exists in bubbles and pockets, right? And I think we just have to be intentional about identifying those bubbles and pockets and bringing them together so we can all, maximize, be heard, respected. And so, one of the things I'm working on with Create is actually a summit, a creative summit, similar to Sloss Tech, where we have, major sponsors, panel discussions, breakout sessions, workshops, to where we can identify some of these different pain points that creatives are having, how to better revitalize our workforce development, to introduce the next wave of youth into creative opportunities.
So I'm interested in all of that. Like that sparks my attention because it's different from, I don't know, just sitting down talking and meeting people that's other creators. I have to get there. So I know that there is something I could benefit from being in a room with other creators because it's just, you're in the room, something's gonna spark out of that.
Absolutely.
Something. I just have never been in a room with creators that I haven't learned something or met somebody and to kind of go to the next level. It's just trying to balance that with the next deadline. Yeah. It's really hard.
And we have to be intentional about it, but I like you said, I know going into it that I'm gonna take something back from that. That's right. And so, knowing that the investment is being reciprocated,
All right, so you got it. I mean, I'm being open about it.
Come through.
But I'm being open to the fact that I want to come. Like, I know I should.
I know I'm gonna see you.
Well, there you go. You put it out there, I'm gonna be there.
I know I'm gonna see you real soon.
Oh man, this has been good. People have been listening to us and they want to know more about who you are. How can they do that?
One, you can just reach out to me directly. DMs are always open. Might not respond immediately, but I'm gonna respond.
Like your socials, what are your socials?
My Instagram is _thisisdez_. Facebook, Dez Wilson. My website is dezwilson.com, dezwilson.com.
Easy enough, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I've said I was a kid in the candy store. I promise you, like, this conversation is the reason why I'm doing Strick City Live. I wanted to have an opportunity to talk two people right here in the city of Birmingham that's doing some innovative things that are really creative. And I got the guy that is doing some major things. Eventually, we'll get Pink Beard here in the studio, but because he's interesting as well and has a lot of great things going on. But I have some other creatives, some business owners that we're going to continue to bring you some people that you need to know in the city. That being said, thank you for watching. This has been Strick City Live.